Nearly 7 in 10 retirees didn't get to choose when they retired, not because they were financially ready, not because they hit some magical number, but because life kicked the door in early through layoffs, health problems, or family emergencies. Meanwhile, most workers are still walking around thinking that they'll retire at 65 like it's guaranteed. Unfortunately, it's not. And if you're building your entire financial future on a date that may never come, you're setting yourself up for a painful wake-up call. So let's go through the retirement lie that almost everyone believes and what it's going to cost you if you keep ignoring the truth. And don't worry, we'll also cover what you can actually do about it too. That 65 age gets thrown around a lot since it's been the traditional marker for retirement for decades. While it partly has to do with the Social Security Act of 1935, the Great Depression left a ton of older workers unemployed, and setting an age like 65 encouraged them to retire, freeing up jobs for younger people. It's stuck as a cultural norm despite changing demographics. But for Social Security today, full retirement age is actually 67 for those of us born after 1959. And when you look at the actual data, most people don't make it that far in the workforce. According to JP Morgan and other long-term retirement studies, 70% of current workers expect to retire at 65, yet only about 28% actually retire at that point. The median retirement age is 62, and since that's just the middle, many retire earlier, often unexpectedly. Layoffs, corporate restructuring, or company closures, health issues, taking care of a spouse or parent, or difficulty finding another job because of outdated skills are all things that catch people off guard and cause them to have to retire earlier than expected. Sure, ageism is technically illegal, but so is hustling random people outside of the gas station to buy me beer every weekend when I was 16. Yet, I still did it and got away with it. Your employer will find the most creative ways to boot you out before you're ready to go. They won't say it's due to a few gray hairs, but suddenly your performance reviews include things like failure to list your pronouns in your email signature. Wade Pfau in the Retirement Planning Guidebook refers to being forced to retire sooner than expected as retirement timing risk. It's the idea that you don't always get to pick your retirement date, and yet most people build their entire financial plan as if they will. If everything hinges on working until 65 or later and you do not make it, the math falls apart, and years of disciplined savings can start to unravel extremely quickly. Recent data shows this problem is accelerating. At the most alarming end of the spectrum, 37% of retirees say they have nothing saved for retirement. In addition, more than 1 in 7 retirees say they rely on their children for financial support. And here's what's really scary. The Federal Reserve found that 29% of retirees said that a health problem was a factor in their decision of when to retire, and 16% said they retired in part to care for family members. But it gets worse. 44% of retirees struggle to afford basic living expenses, and 48% of retirees believe that they'll outlive their savings. We're not talking about funding fancy vacations here. We're talking about paying for food and shelter. Most of my audience is in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, so you might be tempted to kind of just brush this off as something to worry about later. That's exactly how people end up getting stuck, because how we prepare now determines how flexible we can be in the future. The problem isn't retiring early. The problem is retiring early when you weren't planning on it and not being able to get a job that allows you to continue saving at a rate you need to be. Even expecting to retire at 65, but that getting cut short to say 62, that's a 3-year gap, and it matters more than most people realize. Because retiring 3 years earlier doesn't mean 3 fewer years of working. It means 3 fewer years of earning and saving, and 3 more years of drawing down your investments and stretching your money further. Not to mention potentially having to take Social Security 3 years sooner. Our best chance to protect our future options is during our highest earning and highest saving potential years, which for most people happen to be in their 30s, 40s, and early 50s. And there's another hidden time bomb waiting for all of us. Healthcare costs. Here's something most of us young people don't factor into their retirement planning. Healthcare expenses don't just go up as we age, they have the potential to explode. According to the 2024 Fidelity Healthcare estimate, the average retired person at age 65 can expect to spend around $165,000 on healthcare expenses in retirement. But get this, the average American estimates the total cost of healthcare in retirement to be $75,000. That's off by more than 2x. With numbers like these and factoring in the average Social Security payout, it's easy to see how a couple could end up spending at least 25% of it on out-of-pocket healthcare costs. If you're planning to rely on Social Security to supplement your retirement income, this should be terrifying. A huge chunk of it could be swallowed up by medical bills alone. I'll be honest with you guys, a few years ago I was running the numbers and future projections for myself and came to the conclusion that I need to be investing more money to be prepared for something just like this. That means making adjustments in my personal life to align my spending and income today with where I want to be in 10, 20, and 30 years from now. And if I'm having to make adjustments, someone who literally makes content about personal finance and investing, then chances are you might need to take a good hard look at your numbers as well. But here's the thing about those numbers. They're not just about having enough money to quit working forever, because that's not actually what most people do. The whole idea of taking on some sort of work in retirement shouldn't be looked at as a bad thing, and ideally, it would be on your terms and your choice instead of a necessity. In fact, part-time employment is more common than you think because JP Morgan found that 53% of people only partially retired, all for very different reasons. While over half say they do it to stay active or engaged, as you can see, a large chunk do it because they have to, since their savings or income just aren't cutting it. It's easy for us pre-retirees to assume that if you save enough, you'll just flip a switch and be done with work forever. It turns out that what many people call retirement is just not working full-time anymore. And here's the key difference. When you have enough saved, working becomes a choice. When you don't, it becomes a necessity. The people who are forced to retire early but still have to work, they're stuck taking on whatever they can get, not what they want to do. That's exactly why building flexibility into your plan matters. Whether you are forced to retire early or choose to retire and work part-time, you want it to be on your own terms. Here's another issue that compounds all of this. About 2 in 3 retirees say they're in some form of non-mortgage debt. The average retiree owes about $15,000 in non-mortgage debt, with credit card debt playing a significant role. When you are forced into early retirement and still have debt, your options shrink very fast. You can't just scrape by on a small income since you've got payments to make. Medical debt specifically is a key concern for retired Americans as well. Those 13% of retirees in medical debt average a balance of $10,000. Think about that scenario for a second. You get forced out of work early due to medical problems, and then you rack up medical debt because of those same health problems, and now you're stuck trying to figure out how to pay for everything with limited income options. It is a perfect storm of financial disaster. Here's a little pet peeve of mine. I always hate the idea of ruining the rest of your day by laying out a bunch of problems, then sending you on your way, only to have them linger in the back of your mind. So if you want to build more flexibility into your future, here are a few things that you can start doing right now. First, save just a little more than you think you need to. It's not about hitting some perfect number, it's about building cushion. That extra margin can literally buy you time later. I'm not saying to go overboard or anything like that, because I know some of you overachievers will take that to the extreme and suddenly max out your daily sodium intake, eating ramen noodles every day just to max out your investment accounts. That's not the point. The point is to give yourself flexibility, not punishment, so future you isn't cornered by every unexpected expense. Second, to make sure to keep your what I like to call financial taste gap in check. I go into more detail as to what this is in another video I'll link in the description, but it's basically when your desire for a higher lifestyle outpaces what your current income can realistically support. It's that invisible pressure to spend just a little more to look like you've made it, even if the math doesn't add up. Left unchecked, it's one of the fastest ways to feel broke even as your income rises. Third, focus on income flexibility. That could mean building skills that stay relevant, starting a side hustle, or even just staying up to date on your field so you're employable for longer. The data shows that retirees with less education and those with a disability were less likely to work in retirement. Don't let yourself become unemployable due to outdated skills. Fourth, automate your savings and investing so that you're building wealth without having to constantly think about it. That consistency is what compounds over time. Fifth, start planning for healthcare costs now. If you have access to a health savings account, max it out. An HSA offers even greater tax benefits than other types of retirement plans. When paying for healthcare expenses, you can use money from your HSA tax-free either now or later in the future when you're retired. Sixth, take a good hard look at your current numbers and where you need them to be in the future. Then calculate how much you need to be investing every month to get there. If you run the numbers and figure out that you need to be investing $1,500 per month, but due to your income or spending, you're only investing $700 per month, then that's a major problem that needs to be addressed right now. If this is you, it's time to stop dicking around because a sense of urgency needs to be applied immediately. Not in a year, not when things settle down, not when you feel like it, but right now. Every month you delay this is another month that you fall further behind. And the longer you let that gap exist, the harder it becomes to close it later on without drastically cutting back or pushing your retirement further out. It's not about panicking, it's about facing the reality with a level head early enough to actually do something about it. Look, the retirement crisis is real, and most people know it. 2/3 of American retirees say the country is facing one. About 40% worry that they will outlive their savings, and nearly 1 in 5 say that they already have. But knowing this gives you an advantage. While most people are planning for retirement at 65, which probably won't happen, you can plan for the reality that you might stop working at 60 or 62. That means saving more now, keeping your expenses reasonable, building skills that last, keeping up on your health while you still have it, and preparing for healthcare costs that most people completely underestimate. I have people using the spreadsheet in my personal finance bundle to get a clear view of where their numbers stand right now, or Bolden, the retirement planning software, for a more in-depth breakdown. Since I use both of them myself, I'll link them in the description below to check out. If you want to learn more about the financial taste gap that I talked about earlier and how to avoid it, then you can check out this video to your left next. Hit that like button before you go. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Done.